Hello world, I am Antje and I wanted to record a video for the longest time, but here I am. My name is Antje, I'm living in Berlin at the moment, I come to that later. Uh, I'm on Instagram, my name is Czentury with Czentury. Because I was thinking for quite some time about how to stay zen in this century. So if you fuse the two words, it's Czentury, and I really like that idea. I blogged about it a little bit. If you look for century, you find me. And today I would like to start to share the creative part of my history a little bit, and my path, and I would like to video podcast sort of once a month when I feel I have to share something, to say something, and yeah, I think I would really enjoy that. The funny aspect of that is that I talk so much about sewing and knitting and beekeeping and all of that I sometimes have the feeling that people have just enough of that. So I thought if I put it on the internet, then the people who really interested in that will find it. And I really enjoy watching other people's podcasts. It's an amazing community. I had some communication with some of the crafty people worldwide already, and I just wish to participate a little bit more, maybe also contribute something. I always like to think that I can give something back to society because life has been really good to me. Yeah. So again, I'm Antje, I'm 40. I'm born in Germany, and I think, like for most people, as I've seen in all these videos, my grandmother has had a big influence on me. She was always making things herself. So she grew her own vegetables, obviously being a farmer. She grew her own meat, and we had sheep on our farm, which they were just meant to be for slaughtering, I think, not for the wool, which is really sad. But yeah, that's the way it was. But yeah, the family provided their own food or produced their own food, and but yeah, grandma made her own jams and cakes and anything you can think of. So there was always a really good role modeling there. When I grew up, I always felt a really big urge to create things. So there was plenty of wool and anything around, so that was fine, and I could ask. So I learned knitting from my mum when I think I must have been 8. I was 8, and mum taught me how to knit. She was very patient. Picked it up quite quickly, I think, and I started by making a jumper. It's ridiculous. If my daughter asked me now, I wouldn't really recommend to start with a jumper, but I wanted that. So I picked a yarn. I don't have the jumper anymore. I moved 15 times in my life so far. So I made this jumper and I loved it, and I've worn it to death. It was like a petrol green and just knit and purl, like in a little how do you say, chessboard pattern. Yeah, and I've worn it a lot. My interest, however, because I found, even as a child, because I got so obsessed with knitting that like my shoulders started to ache, and you know, at the beginning you're maybe your tension is too tight and all of that. My interest was sewing. I was obsessed with sewing as a child. It's actually quite crazy when I think back, but I've made my own clothes at school, and I really can't thank this person enough. We had an after school care teacher. Her name was Mrs. Ullman, and I really have to thank her for everything. She taught not only the girls in our class how to sew, but also the boys. She told them it's not different to use a sewing machine than drive a car or a tractor, and everyone thought it's so cool. We all wanted to learn it. And yeah, I made my skirts, and I had them somewhere in boxes. I just when I find them, I will show them in the future. Beautiful. I've worn them lots. I made skirts, and yeah, I think we just created clothes. And then she organized fashion show. So there was a big school party, and all the parents were there, and it was a big thing, like big fuss, and we just did a fashion parade with all of our homemade clothes or handmade clothes, and it was amazing when I see these pictures now. And yeah, I even got an award for creativity, which I forgot all about it till my mom gave it to me to my 40th birthday. Now everyone shares what they're drinking. Just by chance, I'm drinking Ceylon tea today because my parents went to Sri Lanka and brought me some spiced tea. And the interesting bit is that I put my own honey in there because I have some bees as well. We have bees. So, from sewing when I was a child, like it seems with everyone else, I had a break, but I probably didn't have such a long break because whenever it was convenient or whenever it was needed, I made things for gifts. So it especially started again to come back to my memory and to my mind, and my creativity. Yeah, I used my creativity when my nieces and nephews were born. I love my nieces and nephews, and they can get anything from me. So I made them, yeah, little bags and clothes and hats and accessories and anything they want, until to that day for their birthday they get something handmade, and by now they ordered custom made t-shirts, or they want some embroidered cushions or anything. Yeah, but I have 3 children, and when my 3rd child was born, I really started to create a lot. She's 4.5 now, and I did so many things. It seems like with the birth of a child, you get or I get a huge energy. I need an energy outlet because it stopped working. You stop working when you have a child. You're with a child, and I just need something to let all my energy out, it seems. So with my first son, I wrote the concept for a child care center where the children spend 70% or more outside. So we did all of that. That was a lot of work. Did that with my best friend then at the time, and it was gorgeous. With my second son, I became a Pilates teacher, and that's why probably a lot of people, like when they Google my name, that's what comes up. So I studied teaching, so I'm a teacher, should have said that. Became a teacher. I studied in a monastery in Austria. Really loved that. But after the birth of my second child, I was 26 at that time, I became a Pilates teacher, and I loved it. I loved it so much. I got obsessed for years. Oh my god, yeah. So I was teaching many years. So by now I would have taught more than 5,000 sessions, meaning 60 minutes, 5,000 or more. I stopped counting then when I reached 5,000 because it was my goal. And I taught a lot of them on stage, and hey, you find me on the internet, that's fine. Look it up. And yeah, and then when my daughter was, or when I was pregnant with my daughter, I felt the urge to create. I always wanted a girl in my life so that I'm not alone with three men. Oh, and I started knitting, so that's the first thing on my little pile. I thought I'd show you a little bit of what I've done so you get to know me a little bit better. So I made this, and the ends are still not woven in. Is that embarrassing or what? But I don't care. I will do it. I will do it. I made a blanket. Sorry, I will cover my face. I'm not sure about the lighting. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? Oh my god. It took me forever. It took me forever because I had two children and I was working. So the deal with Annabelle, which is the name of my daughter, was that I was working in my own Pilates studio in Australia then at the time, and I just worked, and I just loved it so much I didn't really see a need to stop my work. So I was standing on the equipment till 2 days before she was born. So the plan was that I have 3 weeks off before birth, and so I taught till Friday, went to the farmer's market on Sunday, and she was born same day. Was so quick? I don't know how that happened, but yeah, so beautiful. I made that for her, and she uses it a lot, so I actually needed to look for it today because she plays with it and she cuddles with it. So it's gorgeous. And the yarn is amazing too. I still have got some left over. I think I will make something. And then when Annabelle was really little, I have to think, she was born in 2012, and we went to Hawaii for her naming ceremony with her godparents and our first godchild, which is their child, and all the other lovely kids. And it was amazing. And I don't know why, but I really felt the urge to patchwork. I've never patchworked before. I knew I couldn't take a sewing machine, so I just patchworked the whole thing by hand. If you ask me today, it was crazy. It's a few hundred pieces, so I'm not sure how I will show you. So I used the, it's convenient that I sit here, hang on. I used the Bell and Bull book. So this will be now the wrong side because I don't know how people do that they use their camera correctly so that it doesn't, it's the mirror image, right, for you? Sorry for that. It's an amazing book, and that's where I saw this hexagon blanket, and I had to do it. Oh my god, I thought I just must, had to do it. It's in here. Can't find it. Anyway, probably without further ado, I'll just show you my blanket. So I cut out all these pieces of fabric and took them to Hawaii, and it was really nice. Annabelle's godmother and I, we made some of them, whilst we were chatting, and it's like messages, all hexagons. So gorgeous. Yeah. I bought some fabric in Hawaii too, but I didn't end up using it because I just thought the color palette's so nice on this one. Yeah, so she uses it as a duvet cover because I decided, and I heard another podcaster talking about that too, that the whole, I couldn't figure out how to make the padding and it was just all too much, and I really wanted her to use it. So I used a vintage duvet cover which was given to me by a friend. It's an old Austrian duvet. Do you see that? It's amazing fabric. So I just I sew it on, and she uses it a lot. That's why I just put it on her duvet and she loves it. Just throwing this to the side. Oops. Onto my reformer. Very handy to have everything run. So yeah, and then we moved to Germany in 2014 for many reasons, but anyway, we are here, And I was really happy because I met my beautiful friend Nadine. Hi Nadine. And she reminded me of sewing was so good because she makes all the clothes for her daughter. And I'm like, why am I not sewing? This is ridiculous. So I have another goddaughter in Berlin, and she lent me her machine kindly. And I started sewing again, and I thought if I really like it, then I'm going to buy my own machine, which I ended up doing. I bought myself a brother, invested in a really nice one, and if anyone wants to know, it's Innovis Brother NV1100, and it has a lot of different stitches. Anyway, that's just on the side. So I just grabbed quickly two things because I make almost all of Annabelle's clothes. So just, just some pants for Kindy. She loves them. She orders, what she wants. She says, oh, I want leggings in that color, or pants in these. I mean, usually she wants to have dresses, but she's got so many dresses from our family. Heirloom, do you say heirloom? Like dresses handed down. She's got dozens, so I try not to make dresses. Or maybe some of you know the chili pants. It's just a front piece and a back piece, and they're the same. And they are so awesome for Kindy. Obviously, these are not her favorite ones because they're blue, and obviously one can't wear blue as a girl, which I don't agree with, but anyway. So, and I make all these project bags and everything, and she carries her little things in there. I make clothes and accessories for the rest of the family too. The boys enjoy it too, and I like the design process. If I ask them, what would you like to do, or my nephew, he chooses then a color and sends me a picture on WhatsApp, and I have all their measurements written down. I regularly remeasure them. I make the t-shirts and hats and socks I'm so knitting, obviously. Yeah, and then we and I made this, and this was funny. I thought it was the best Christmas gift, and my daughter didn't agree. It's fine, she will love it one day. It's a vintage, it was a vintage print where the sewing instructions are on there, so it had the front and the back printed next to each other, and then in a really old-fashioned style it was written, cut out and sewed together and stuff it. So it's full of scraps, jersey scraps of anything I've done and made, and I love it, and I think it's so cool. And she said, oh, an old doll, and that was the end of it. But it's standing on the piano, and now and then she goes there and looks at it, and one day she'll just adore it, I think. And if not, I adore it, it's mine. And the fabric was given to me by the bestest of the bestest friends in Australia. Female friends of Australia. Very good. Yeah. So, and then so the knitting. The knittings started to come back to me in November of last year. I was really sick. I mean, not sick as in dangerously sick, but I'm working full time and I'm not used to be at home, but I had to stay at home for 2 weeks. And I thought, I'm just getting a total crisis. What am I doing at home? And I had too much of a headache to read, or, not enough attention spent to read. And I thought, no, this is just too much. So I started knitting. I fell into the rabbit hole. I looked at all the patterns, and I didn't bring out all the stuff I knitted, but I'll show it to you another day. So I started knitting. I made myself two cardigans, one vintage pattern, one grey cardigan with some fishbone on the top, and I'm just obsessed. So then a very dear friend of mine at school, she asked me, if we wanted to have a nice day out in Berlin, and I said, yeah, sure, blah, blah, and we went to go to have a look at some school books and had a nice meal and anything like that. But I asked her if we could go to a German dyer, a hand dyer, wool. She does wool. I think her name is Jana from Frida Fuchs Yarns. And it was an odyssey till we arrived there, because there's several streets with the same name in Berlin, and anyway, so we arrived there, and I found this beautiful yarn, and I made a Duchess of Devonshire shawl out of it. It's on Ravelry. It's a paid for pattern, and yeah, it's my first little shawl I ever made. And you can see that it didn't. See, I tried to block it out, but I don't have a blocking set yet, so it will be straight one day. It's gorgeous. That was totally enabled by Miss Lavelli from Inside Number 23. I love her podcast. I watched all of her episodes. It's crazy that I watched all of them many hours. But yeah, I love her, and she inspired me. And thanks, Jana, for dyeing this beautiful yarn. I still have so much. I probably will make a featherweight cardigan. And the yarn is actually here. Hang on. Now the label is reversed, which is stupid, but anyway, I'll show you. How do people do that? Oh, the light is actually not too bad. See, it has a bit of a halo. It's 100% superwash merino. That's how the label looks like. Just to think of it as being mirrored. Schlafmoon is the color. Steppke single is the yarn, and it's just gorgeous. I love this color. Yeah, it's wonderful. I bought some sock yarn from her as well, and I've got a 150 gram skein left. That's actually very true to color with this camera. It's beautiful. Yeah, so this is waiting for a nice, I think, shawl, or it's gorgeous. I made socks as well. I'll show all the socks I made another time. Anyway, so I'm really into hand dyeing now. And coming back to what I said before, that I think crafting really helps to stay zen in this century. You know, everything is so rush and so fast, and when I sit down and craft, I just get so calm. It's beautiful. I really like the feeling. Similar to when I'm doing Pilates. I'm not much of a runner. I do run, but I actually prefer Pilates and knitting for staying healthy. That sounds funny. Christy Glass is doing a book club about the health benefits of knitting at the moment. I can really recommend that. All of her videos are amazing, but yeah, so hello from Berlin, Christy. Maybe we meet one day. Yeah, and then, so I was really satisfied with that knit, and I use it when it's colder. I almost use it every day, because that's the only shawl, handmade shawl I'm having, or I own, I should say. So, but we went to Oslo recently, just for a family trip, just a week. And I said, well, the only wish I've got in Oslo is to go to a yarn store, which is, I know it's silly, but it was really worth it. We went to Froquist, if you look it up. I think I should have her label here as well. But it is, again, it is a reverse, but I will learn all these things. So it's like a yarn boutique. It's gorgeous. The most amazing people too working there. So it's Froquist, and they have amazing yarn. They sell all the colors of 2 companies, and you're just standing in front of these shelves and you're just overwhelmed. It's beautiful. And I still want to make a Norwegian yoke pullover. a Fair Isle, that's the word. Excuse it. Excuse my English sometimes, but never mind. I'm practicing it. And I couldn't find any patterns in English, and the lovely, lovely lady working there said to me, look, start with the kids sweater. It's called the Embla sweater, and I did. Start with the kids pattern because that's already translated in English, and her friend made it. Her friend is called Strickezilla or Strickezilla. You find her on Ravelry, and I will eventually learn how to insert all these words on the screen, but I can't yet, so yeah. And so I made it for Annabelle, and she has picked the colors, which gave me almost a stroke. I mean, I would never have picked a purple for a Fair Isle, but never mind, it's her taste and she loves it. So I knitted in, it took me only a week. It was so fast. I got obsessed with it. And I decided to make a little dress out of it. So it's just, it sort of ends just underneath her bottom, and she can wear some leggings and a really light, like a cardi or long sleeve t-shirt underneath. And she loves it. Same front and back. Knit in around. And I picked out the colors for me. Let's quickly show you. This video is going to be really long already. Not very disciplined blogger. Or podcaster, I should say. Is that the right one? Yeah. So my main color is this color. It does only have a number as a color, and I can't read anything of it anyway because I'm not speaking the language. But yeah, this is my main color, and as you can see on, oh, what am I wearing? I can talk about that now. It's one of my favorite colors. I'm wearing a Molly top from Sir Over at London. Very obsessed with Sir Over at London. I was given even a voucher for my birthday, which I'm looking forward to spending. Anyway, yeah, and I made it out of a merino, premium merino wool fabric I bought in Melbourne last year. Yeah, very special. And I wear it constantly. It's sort of a comfy outfit. So main color, and then my yoke will be the grey and then the off-white. And I think it will be gorgeous. I'm just hesitant to start it now because in Berlin it's just warming up. Yesterday we had 27 degrees, and I don't want to have it on the needles for too long. I want to start it and knit it like in 2 or 3 weeks hopefully. And if I start it now, it will just languish, and then I may have a different tension, and I don't like that. So this will be waiting for when summer fades. Okay, so I was talking a lot about that, but what else am I doing to stay zen in the Czentury? Some of you may ask, you know, am I still teaching Pilates? So since we moved to Germany, I first had a bit of a time off working because I needed to care about the settling in of our 3 children. 2 of them were grown-up boys, and then Annabelle as a little girl, and that took some energy and some time. I built some raised garden beds in that time. I started beekeeping, so we have 2 beehives. We make our own honey. I just come from the forest today, and today for the first time I went all by myself without my middle son. I got stung 9 times. So, but yeah, never mind. You sort of get used to. I usually don't get stung, or definitely not 9 times, but I harvested their honey, and they didn't really like that I took all their honey away. Poor things. Yes, so I do that. In summer I swim. We're living on a lake, and I can just jump into the water from our garden, which is nice. I work, yeah, that's what I want to say. I work as a teacher, and yeah, that keeps me zen too. The children are wonderful. You get so much back from them, and yeah, and about maybe a year ago I decided to make my own clothes. Some people ask if I do that to save money, which is ridiculous if you know how much fabric costs. Obviously not. But I started making my own clothes, and I really used the patterns from Lisa Comfort. Something funny with my hair. And I made a lot of clothes from her ebook. And I think I'll just have a, show and tell one day of just the overall things I made. I made so many of them. The rolls up there, they're definitely all sew overs. And yeah, the ebook I used to make all my basic garments, and I made a few dresses, shirt dress, and many more things. So I love her instructions, and I love her thoughtfulness of when she's putting the pattern together, and it's really good. So this time, or this year, I'm participating in Me Made May for the first time, and I love it. The interesting thing is that it's almost the end of it, and I haven't worn anything twice. That shows you how much I made in this short time. It's just crazy. So I made a lot of shirts and dresses and pants and really anything, underwear, pajamas. I made everything. So I'm still going strong. I'm putting a daily photo on Instagram, and so you can just check it out. Okay, so that's it for my little intro. I am glad someone listened to me talking about yarn and fabric and didn't get annoyed by it, hopefully. And yeah, so I wish everyone a peaceful weekend. I'm just about to go camping with friends, which will be nice. Take some knitting with me, connect with nature, and yeah, bless all of you, and stay happy and zen, and see you soon. Bye.